Kyle Larson says he sees himself retiring from NASCAR before his 40th birthday. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday. Lots to get to today. Kyle Larson was on the Kenny Wallace show this week and was refreshingly honest when talking about his racing future. I'm not exactly sure how fans will react to his comments. We'll get to that in just a few moments. First, we've got some end of week loose ends to tie up. Let's start. 2311 Racing showed off their brand new race shop. They posted some aerial shots on social media. It's big, it's beautiful, looks like there's plenty enough space to accommodate, future 2311 expansion. And apparently this race shop will be named Airspeed, which, man, that is a good name right there. Plays off the Air Jordan brand as well as Speed Racing. Honestly, maybe they don't want me to say this. Airspeed should be the name of the team. You would avoid any weird 2311 confusion. People still say 23XI, don't realize the Roman numerals. Maybe it's too late in the game to change it now, but Airspeed, wow. Yeah, imagine that. You got, Trackhouse, Legacy, Airspeed would fit right in, honestly. But good looking race shop. Great to see a new team continuing to invest, even though Denny Hamlin, wasn't it a couple years ago, suggested the team would be pausing any future investments until, I don't remember, maybe a new charter agreement was signed, something like that. Nevertheless, they are continuing to push forward, and 2024 is a big year for 2311 Racing. Denny Hamlin in the past has talked about, a 5-year plan to get this team into championship contention. This will be year 4, and I think they're right on schedule. Now Tyler Reddick is no longer the new guy. He was in the round of 8 last year. Bubba Wallace was in the round of 12. Bubba Wallace has shown steady improvement year after year. Hopefully that continues. Of course, all the Toyotas have a brand new body that looks radically different than the Camrys of years past. This is a big year for 2311 Racing, and I personally have very high expectations for this team. Let me know down in the comments. Do you expect both Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace to make the playoffs once again? Do you see either driver get into the round of 8 or maybe even the championship 4 for the first time in team history? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your expectations for 2311 Racing. I might start calling them Airspeed, just maybe privately to myself. Let me know what your expectations for 2311 Racing are down in the comment section below. But let's move on. Last we spoke, we discussed Matt DiBenedetto rumors. He had put out a teaser on social media, and then the very next week, DGM Racing had put some teasers out. I thought maybe there was a match there. Turns out I was wrong. My theory was convincingly and rapidly rejected. DGM instead signed Josh Bilicki to race part-time in the number 92 Xfinity Series Chevrolet. Not the flashiest pick in the world, but Josh Bilicki's a solid driver, especially on road courses. I think he excels. I know many Matt DiBenedetto fans are eagerly awaiting any news regarding their favorite driver. There are still a couple of Cup Series seats available. Rick Ware Racing has still not confirmed their second full-time driver, or you could be a cast of part-time drivers, and same with Colleague and the 16. It appears there will be multiple drivers in the 16. Who knows? Matt DiBenedetto could get some part-time, at least Cup Series opportunities. We'll just have to wait and see. One more quick story before we get to Kyle Larson's comments. According to Auto Week, RFK Racing is considering IMSA, sports car racing. Hey, kind of full circle. That's where Jack Roush really cut his teeth before getting into NASCAR and becoming a championship NASCAR team owner. There was a very interesting quote from Brad Keselowski, co-owner of RFK Racing. He said, "As NASCAR continues to get heavier and heavier into road course racing, I think IMSA offers a lot of advantages to the ecosystem of a successful Cup team. I don't see us on a path to an Xfinity or truck team in the near future." Wow, that is very interesting. A few episodes ago, I discussed whether, the truck and Xfinity series have become somewhat interchangeable. For years, we considered late models, then ARCA, then you jump into trucks, then Xfinity, then to Cup. That was sort of the progressive pipeline. In recent years, with the next-gen car racing more similarly to the trucks, maybe the truck and Xfinity series, the lines have become blurred. Brad Keselowski is suggesting, hey, that's not even in the cards for us. We're not even looking on this tree. We're looking over here at IMSA as a way to develop our drivers, to learn something that can be applied to the NASCAR Cup Series. It makes sense considering the next gen was designed with sports cars in mind, but it is surprising to hear him say that. So don't expect a Roush return to the Xfinity or Truck Series anytime in the near future. Now, one other note in this article, RFK Racing is focusing first on a third Cup team before considering IMSA. So, on their list of priorities, it goes third full-time Cup team. They're testing out a part-time third Cup team this year with Stage 60, but full-time third team is first, then IMSA, then I guess anything else. To start a third full-time Cup team, they'll probably need a third charter. Where do you get it? That's easier said than done. It makes total sense to me why a Cup Series team would be interested in IMSA. Keselowski mentioned the road course racing connection, but even Ford, they have not been afraid of getting their Cup Series drivers some IMSA seat time. Like, wasn't it just last year? I think Zane Smith and Hailie Deegan raced in the Roar before the 24. I think it was those two. There might have been others as well. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. So, Ford putting their drivers in IMSA to get them more road course experience is nothing new. Having, a Roush team in IMSA, having a dedicated spot for Ford development drivers to learn and gain experience, makes a ton of sense to me. I hope it comes to fruition one day. Man, first Trackhouse going full on into MotoGP, now Roush considering IMSA. NASCAR is my first favorite motorsport by far, but it is cool to see these other NASCAR teams trying out other series, expanding. I'm sure it's good for their business to sort of diversify their interests, of course, but I think it's also fun for us fans. I'm more inclined to watch a MotoGP event this year because I recognize the Trackhouse colors. I'd like to see how they do. Anyway, leave a comment down below. What do you think of Brad Keselowski's comments? Are you surprised at all to hear him kind of snub the Xfinity and Truck Series in favor of IMSA? Let me know what you think. Kyle Larson, 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion. He's been to the championship for 2 of the last 3 seasons. He was on The Kenny Wallace Show, which is on Kenny Wallace's YouTube channel. I'll put a link to the video down in the description below. I highly encourage you to go check out the full clip. The full Kenny Wallace episode with Kyle Larson, I believe, will drop on January 9th. So I'm looking forward to hearing the full interview. But just in this first clip alone, Kyle Larson was asked how long he sees himself racing in NASCAR, in the context of many other veteran NASCAR stars are retiring in their early to mid 40s these days. And Kyle Larson's response has caught many people's attention this morning.
Sitting here right now, I don't see myself going to 40. So in my eyes, if I could race another 7 or 8 years, I can earn a lot of money, I can set myself up really well, and I can go, still be in my prime, hopefully, and go compete for, Premier Dirt Series Championship, stuff like that. I'm still young.
I think a lot of fans are overreacting slightly to this clip. The interesting part isn't what he said, because he said that before. I remember a few years ago now, he said that he wanted to race full-time in dirt by the time he was 40. I remember a lot of NASCAR fans were shook a few years ago when he said the Chili Bowl, not the Daytona 500, was the race he wants to win the most. So he said all that stuff before. What's interesting about this clip is that he's saying it here today. When he talked about rather win the Chili Bowl over Daytona, he was still racing for Chip Ganassi. That was 2017, 2018, maybe 2019. It was years ago, long before Kyle Larson to Hendrick Motorsports was even on the table. He's been with Hendrick Motorsports the past few years. He's now won a NASCAR Cup Series championship. He's racing for arguably the best team in the NASCAR Cup Series. I guess some fans wondered if maybe his perspective had changed a bit. The reason this clip is interesting is because it shows that no, Kyle Larson's opinion hasn't really changed in 6 years. His first passion, his first love is still and probably always will be dirt racing. If you watch this full clip, which again, I'll link down in the description below, go check it out. He does say that he loves racing in NASCAR, and he doesn't mean this as any sort of slight against stock car racing. I'll read you the quote. Larson said, quote, "I love racing in NASCAR. I would not be racing in NASCAR if I didn't love it. I think a lot of race fans feel that I don't like racing in NASCAR, that I'm just doing it to make money, and that I'm going to retire. I would have done that a long time ago if I didn't love what I'm doing, racing in NASCAR and competing for wins with the best team in the sport. I absolutely love what I'm doing right now, and who knows, if I'm still loving it 8 years from now, I could be in NASCAR till I'm 50. Again, I think some fans are overreacting to this soundbite just a bit. Look, Kyle Larson is 31 years old. He's been racing full-time in the NASCAR Cup Series since 2014. I know 2020 he largely sat out, but overall, he's entering his 11th full-time year in the Cup Series. So if he races for 7 or 8 more years, like he suggests, that'll be 18, 19 years in Cup. For comparison, Jimmy Johnson raced full-time in Cup for 19 seasons. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was full-time in Cup for 18 years. Matt Kenseth was full-time in Cup for 18 years. We don't talk about 2020. I guess you could say 19. If Kyle Larson does in fact retire before he turns 40, his Cup Series career will still be right in that normal 18 to 20 year range. He may only be 38, 39 years old, which is young to retire from NASCAR, but he'll have had a full career at that point. Kyle Larson has every right to live his life the way he wants to live his life. And in many ways, when you compare him to other NASCAR Cup Series drivers, he's kind of in his own category. He's a world-class talent who, like I said, has always dreamed of racing dirt since he was a little kid. That's his passion. He's already a proven winner in sprint cars, dirt late models, NASCAR. Shoot, he's going to attempt to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 this year. Kyle Larson has, and I think will continue to lean into that jack-of-all-trades approach. He really is the closest thing we have in America today to Mario Andretti or Tony Stewart. And look at Tony, shoot, he's still learning new things. He's winning NHRA events the last couple of years. That's the kind of career I think Kyle Larson is going for. He wants to win races and championships across a variety of disciplines. He takes great pride in his talent and how diverse it is. But anyone shocked by these comments shouldn't be. We've known for years that Kyle Larson truly loves dirt racing more than anything. NASCAR is a job. It's a fun job. I believe Kyle Larson when he says he loves racing in NASCAR. He's a competitor at heart. He loves to compete. If it's got 4 wheels and an engine and goes fast, he is there. NASCAR is his day job. He likes it. He enjoys it. Is it his number one passion? No, probably not. But that's okay. How many people out there can say their job is their number one passion? Probably very, very few. Kyle Larson formed his own dirt sprint car series in the past year or so, for crying out loud. He's been telling fans for years what he's truly passionate about. He's great at NASCAR. He loves NASCAR. But I would not be surprised if he retires by the time he's 40 years old. He's been hinting at it for years. I genuinely appreciate the honesty in that clip with Kenny Wallace. He hasn't backed down. His opinion really hasn't changed. His approach really hasn't changed after all these years. And you got to respect someone who knows what they want and are setting out to do it and do it very well. As a NASCAR fan first, I would love to see Kyle Larson race in Cup for 15 more years, especially if he's at the level he's at now. But I'm not surprised at all to hear him say he would like to go race dirt while he's still in his prime and can contend for wins and championships. Hey, good luck to him. What do you think? Down in the comment section below. Were you blindsided by these retirement comments from Kyle Larson, or is this kind of what you expected? Let me know down in the comment section below. While you're down there, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you love all things NASCAR. And a huge thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. I will see you all again soon. Again, check out that full clip from the Kenny Wallace YouTube channel. I'll put that link down in the description below. Have a wonderful rest of your week, folks. I'll catch you in the next episode.